Hey, what is up, everybody? How is your treasure hunting going? I'm officially 2 weeks into my treasure hunting, and obviously, nobody has found the treasure yet, which is a good thing as far as I'm concerned, anyway. But it was funny because I'm to the point where I'm seeing posts, and there's lots of people getting boots on the ground, which obviously boots on the ground starts making me nervous because I can't get boots on the ground yet. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get boots on the ground. But every time I hear somebody say they have a solve or they know where it's going to be at, it makes me nervous. I wake up every day hoping that nobody has found the treasure yet before I even get a chance to get boots on the ground. But I was talking to a coworker the other day about this, and I brought it up how I always thought it was funny, when I go to these different sites and groups that every day you see people that say they know exactly where it's at, they just got to get there, or they know exactly where it's at, just in general, they've got it solved. And it's funny because just yesterday, Justin Posey posted, I guess this was a couple of days ago now, he posted on his Facebook page this post right here. 1 month in, and the stats are pretty interesting. People ask me to verify their solution before heading out. 24,101. People 100% sure they know where the treasure is. 13,388. Bribe attempts 32. Blackmail attempts 3. Search and rescue operations 1. People that have found the treasure 0. And then it says people having adventure and connecting with others, priceless. I got a big kick out of that. That kind of made me laugh because I was thinking that same thing of how many people think they know where it's at. And another thing he posted just the other day too that I just thought was kind of interesting. I don't know how many people actually pay attention to the website and the announcements and the rules and things like that. But he did update the rules on April 29th on his webpage. I'm going to post them right here. But I just thought, I imagine he's just absolutely getting bombarded with questions and things like that. And quite frankly, if it was me, I wouldn't even respond to the questions. But in the nature of the game he is. So, if he is, you got to take what he's saying with as pretty straightforward. And so here's what we're talking about under the rules section of his website. What these words mean. He gives a definition of treasure, the final prize you're looking for, clues, all hints that help you find the treasure, and hunt items, both the treasure and all clues. So, nothing about that really stands out to me unless people are asking them, is the treasure really a treasure, or is the treasure the search? Things like that, I guess I can imagine. But these next two sections are the things that I think are important. Where hunt items are not. Underwater, on private property, in caves, mines, or tunnels, at places that need rappelling, associated with any man-made buildings, near graves or grave markers, and in dangerous places. So anything that has anything like that can obviously be ruled out. Except I haven't been boots on the ground yet, so I don't know what that really entails, but I imagine that's something to keep in handy when you're out there actually searching. All hunt items are at least 1 mile away from anything or anywhere that Justin Posey, his family, or friends live, work, or own. Well, that's an important question. I was watching Calazars the other day where they were talking about something. I think K-Pro had indicated that she had an area that she was going to check, and somebody brought up that that's within a mile of where the grandfather lived or something like that. Which I think she was kind of annoyed by the whole situation of like, well, how are we supposed to know where grandfather lives or something like that? Well, somebody just told you, so I guess that's one way to find out. But I guess that's still something better than not knowing a situation like that at all. I mean, that can save you a whole bunch of time just learning that simple fact. Items are on publicly accessible land that anyone can visit, and all items are safe to get to. So those are things to take and consider as well. And then it gives an items of things that you don't need. So you don't need any climbing gear or ropes. You don't need permission to enter private land. You don't need swimming skills. You don't need ladders or climbing skills. And you don't need a high clearance vehicle. So that helps narrow some things down as well. And then when you look at the frequently asked questions, I think there's some things that you can look at on that as well. I remember reading them earlier on into this quest 2 weeks ago. And then a lot of the stuff that I've been watching, I'll hear people say something, and it's like, well, wait, he answered that question in this frequently asked questions. So I'm trying to make it a habit to routinely, weekly, bi-weekly, something, to just continue to go to the frequently asked questions page, continuously go to the announcement page, things like that, just so I don't forget something, because there's just so much going on with us, and it can be so overwhelming. Like I said, I feel it's absolutely consumed my life at this point, in a good way. I mean, I go to bed and I dream about it sometimes. So I don't know if anybody else is at that aspect of it as well, but just some little things to help out in the future. Where do I go searching? The American West. The map on the homepage shows the search area. What happens if no one finds it? Treasure will wait. Erase. Will there be any updates or additional clues released? Any updates will be posted on this site. Let's see. Let's go back to some of these other questions. Actually, I think more. So I think I wanted to go to the announcements. I think the announcements page is where. There we go. Here's the announcement. Some of the interviews that he's done. There's a specialized vehicle needed to find the treasure. You don't need a high clearance vehicle to find the treasure. Who knows where the treasure is hidden? No one knows but me. Where's the box? Who says it's a box? Do you need boots on the ground to see the checkpoint? I haven't specified. Are there clues in every story? Not every story has a clue. I think that's an important thing to remember, that not every story has a clue. Do you have a favorite story? The Postal Pilgrimage. Now, when I read that story, I mean, obviously, for him to bring it up on this page here, it seems like it would be an important story, because he says it's his favorite story. Clues are in the stories, but not every story. So with those two things back to back, like I said, it makes me wonder. Like I said, if you recall, the story has to do with his grandfather asking him to go out and get the mail. This is in Arizona. He thinks he hears a rattlesnake. His grandfather tells him, no, it's your head playing games on you. Goes back out there, hears it again. Grandpa tells him to go out again. And then finally he just tries to ignore it, goes out there, and there's two rattlesnakes out there. And then his grandfather ends up killing the rattlesnakes, and he has the rattles that he still keeps in a jar as a reminder of this story. So, I mean, when you think of that story, I mean, the place is obviously in Arizona. So, I mean, does Arizona have some type of concept with that, or does it have to do more with the rattlesnakes themselves, or what? Or does it not have anything to do with the treasure at all? It's just one of his stories, and it's his favorite story. So, I don't know, those little things that you have to think about. Is the treasure hidden outside the map search area? No. Was the clock actually moving during the filming of the series? It was set to 4:19 for quite a few scenes. His answer to that was a bit uncanny. To me, the way he answered that makes me think there's more to it. I mean, he could have simply said no, or he could have simply said yes. I mean, but to say that was a bit uncanny is almost like avoiding the answer itself, which makes me think that maybe that is an issue. So as you talk about the compass with Brandon, Tucker, your dad, and your grandpa, but on your website, Tucker, Brandon, your dad, and your grandpa, do they each designate a specific side of the compass? He says anything related to that, I think the book is a better reference. Regarding the 4 points on the compass, do each of the points define the starting point, the bride, the babbling brook, and the exact spot that you were seeking? He put, I will have to punt on that. Let's see. Somebody asked a question about the bronze Tucker statue. He says it's 70, 80 pounds. How hard was it to bury a treasure with a broken leg? I haven't specified or not that it's buried. It took at least 4 trips from a vehicle, and no, it wasn't my car. Is there a cipher or a technical clue? It says there are 2 elements at play. One is a cipher, but it's not advanced. It's very approachable. The other element arguably could require a bit of technical know-how, but there are other ways to uncover it that would require very minimal technical knowledge, and it's not a super critical clue. And then, is a cipher in the poem or the book? Hasn't specified. When you do a book signing event. So, like I said, I guess I would urge everybody to continuously go to the page if you've already read it, which I'm sure you have. Maybe forget some stuff. There's a lot of good little things on there, lots of little clues. But yeah, like I said, I think some of those things are important to remember when you're out there searching. I think it's easy to get caught up in the moment and get caught up into what you think your solve is, and then go out there and forget some of these things. So like I said, I think it's important to remember that. I myself am in the second reading of the book right now. I just got a hard copy in as well. I know Calazars has already done a video on what some of the differences are. I just felt that it would be easier to have both. Spot the differences myself. Maybe they missed something in the differences. But I just wanted to get that for myself and make my own decisions. I also like having a hard copy better than just the e-version anyway. There was the announcement too that he was going to be releasing shortly an audiobook. And in that he had said that might help clear out one of the more interesting spots that's been talked about. I don't know necessarily what that means. But there are a couple things that I've been kind of thinking about in my research for it so far. One of the things that has really been bugging me is the whole Alaska. I mean, Alaska's on the map. He didn't have to put that on the map. I've heard a lot of people already just kind of completely throw it out as a location in general, but I don't know. It's weird to me. Like I said, I don't recall reading about anything about Alaska in the book. And I know he said that you don't need the book to find the treasure, that the poem is good enough, but I mean, it is a point to read the book and as he has said, know the person that hid the treasure. And so, like I said, I'm in the second reading of it right now, but I don't recall anything about Alaska in the book. So that's kind of stumping me a little bit. Like I said, I don't, the fact that it's on the map, I don't want to just easily eliminate it. The other thing is, I mean, I've seen so many people that think it's Montana, or I've heard Wyoming a lot too, which were 2 of my first guesses as well. But I think I told somebody in one of my videos before that I kind of liked Utah. But as I'm reading the book the second time around, I don't want to eliminate Arizona or New Mexico as well. Like I said, to me, especially the first half of the book, there's so much important things and so many important stories that take place in New Mexico and Arizona. And so when you're talking about, getting to know the person and how they think, and it's like that was such an important part of his life that I just don't want to easily eliminate it. But I mean, there's other states on this map too. And like I said, I don't want to go out there just eliminated anything. I think you run a risk at getting too caught up in one place without looking at other things. And I think there was some talk about confirmation bias and things like that. And so I don't want to rule anything out, but so the Alaska one really bothers me. Another thing that I had noticed too was when I was reading the legal aspect, one of the things that kind of caught me, really caught me, because I think my first thought in my first reading was that this treasure was possibly in Wyoming. That was like my first strong point, Wyoming and then Montana. And then when I'm looking at the legal page and it says jurisdiction and legal compliance, it says the treasure hunt and all related disputes are governed by the laws of the state of Wyoming without regard to its conflict of laws principles. Now, my first thought was, treasures in Wyoming, it has to be. I mean, why would they use the jurisdiction and legal compliance? And why would all disputes be the state of Wyoming if that's not the case? But then I did a little bit more research on that, and being in law, I also know that you can incorporate in different places, and I realized too that apparently Wyoming has some of the most friendly business and LLC rules and laws in the whole country. So a lot of places incorporate in Wyoming. So that kind of threw that big, oh, I found something here, kind of threw that out. Not that it's not still possibly in Wyoming, but that wasn't as important to me once I realized that. Now, additionally, in addition to that, like I said, as you saw from my last video, I did get There's Treasure Inside book. I have received that. I'm still in the process of reading that. I should have it finished by this weekend, and I gotta be perfectly honest, I really enjoy the book. Like I said, I'm maybe a chapter away from part 2, which is where it actually starts talking about the boxes and where the clues for those boxes are. But part 1 of the book is just really interesting. It's a different type of book. It's different than Beyond the Map's Edge. It breaks down different items that are in the treasure and gives a historical perspective on it and why it's significant or how he went about getting it. And then it mixes in some type of theme as well, and some type of story from his past as well. And I find it really, really, really interesting. It's a very good read. The book itself is beautiful. I'm looking forward to finishing it and starting to try to break down some of those clues as well. And then, like I said, I just discovered this Lady Liberty treasure hunt as well. This O'Connor guy, another cool one. I mean, obviously it's not valued as much. I think the main treasure in that one is 6 figures, so they're saying probably close to $100,000. But the guy that hit it isn't rich by any means or anything like that. But it's the same type of thing. I mean, he's got it hidden somewhere in 9 states. But his book, from my understanding, I don't have the book yet. I think I'm going to get it. But it's a historical thing. It goes into history and certain landmarks and the history of those landmarks. And he had that same concept as, he wants people to go out in nature and learn history and learn things like that. And that's right up my alley. And that's kind of why I like There's Treasure Inside book so much as well, because I've already learned things about like Jackie Kennedy Onassis or Andrew Carnegie or different Olympic people and things that I didn't know. I knew who those people were, but I didn't know backgrounds to certain things. And like I said, when you're thinking about treasure and discovery and things like that, sometimes learning new things and knowledge and the search for knowledge is a treasure in of itself. And it's one of the things that's always driven me. I'm a huge fan of history. So I love this mixture and this concept of learning history while you're searching for a treasure as well. So, I mean, that's where I've been at the last 2 weeks. It's been incredible incredibly busy reading and trying to break down clues and looking at maps and trying to rule things out and watching videos and all that kind of stuff. And so I hope all you guys are out there searching too. I mean, if you think that I'm off the mark on something, or if you think you have a clue that you'd like to share with me, feel free to share it. We can discuss it on another video. But at this time, I don't think the treasure is anywhere close to being found. I hope that it's not close to being found, because I don't know when I can get out there. But I do want to get out there, and I think that's the most important part. And I think that's what these guys really, really want, is people to go out there and enjoy it and see nature and be out in nature. And while it's fun reading about it and studying it and being a armchair puzzle solver, like I said, you have to get the boots on the ground, and that's what I'm looking forward to doing. So everybody who's been following me on this journey, thank you so much. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. And if you're returning, thank you. Continue watching, and hey, let's go find these treasures together. And let's see, can you find them before I find them? Until next time, guys, thanks.